1 minute past 8 a.m. and you're still watching Smart 24 TV as we will bring to you, of course, the business updates, both local and international and regional at the same time. But don't forget, you're a trader right there and you want to really have a side income, but you're thinking, you're scared, you're worried about the excessive paperwork that is involved when it comes to reaching out physically to try to trade stocks. Well, Zabo just made it much more easy for you. Start 292 hash. And of course, a lot of options will be available to you right there, and you will be making the informed, right investment decisions. The markets will be opening at exactly every day. That's Monday to Thursday, rather, at 8:15 a.m. till 3. That is at 8 p.m. That's still East African time. So that during all that time, trading will have transparent, and you will be in position to actually make some profits for you right there. You can purchase government bonds from there. You can purchase securities at your own, whatever options. There are quite lots, of course, made available for you right there to make the appropriate decisions. Zabu, do something new. Okay. Now, away from that, this particular time, we're heading into the business tips and quotes. And of course, we shall also be reviewing something from the social, that's media trends. But firstly, let's take a look at the business tips and quotes and, getting inspired throughout the day. And, when you read these quotes, these are quotes that were written by people's experiences. And, they contain a certain substance. They are not just thought through. Sometimes we can speak about things which we just know, but we've not yet experienced. But it's another when you can actually speak something from a place of experience. With that way, it will carry substance, and substance definitely will have impact. Now, firstly, let's review the business tip of the day. We see what it really says, and regarding to business operations, of course, you need to be inspired in that way at that particular time. Well, the business tip today says that the secret of getting ahead is getting that is started. And of course, still the secret of getting started is breaking that is your complex overwhelming. That's into smaller, of course, overwhelming tasks into smaller, that is manageable tasks, and then starting, of course, on the first one. Very, very, very important. I think this is something really take through. So many times we are scared to start something, but the day you start up something, like the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The day you really do your first business transaction, probably the day you take that step, you open up that business and start. Well, that is going to be a very, very, very inspirational moment, and a very defining moment on that side of entrepreneurship when it comes to your lifestyle, as your entrepreneurial lifestyle, if that is concerned. So many times we fear to start, and what we do mainly is we just talk about what we want to do. I want to build this business, I want to build this, but you're not doing something about it to start. You may keep on doing that, what we call wishful thinking all the time, but it won't have a certain impact towards your growth and development on a personal level. Well, away from that, let's take a look at the business quote of the day. The business quote of the day right there. And the business quote of the day says that formal education will make you a living, that self-education will make you a fortune. Wow, that is very, very interesting. I think you'll be amazed, of course, probably for those of you that you do so many research regarding that. One of the greatest presidents America has had, that's Abraham Lincoln, didn't really have that much education as such, but there was that self-education that you really attain. Let me tell you something. Simply because I don't have the papers that really qualify me to, for example, I'm not saying it's not good to study. By the way, you need to study, you need to read books. There are places you may never access unless you have papers. That is a wisdom. That is something that you need to also understand right there. But then that shouldn't be the basis of your confidence when it comes to how you approach matters in the world. It shouldn't be that way. Self-education is the way out, simply because we're always born with this wisdom. to put up things, to make things work. It's always there, but it's all about the aspect of self-recovery, trying to understand who you really are, but that still will come with excessive research. You study books, you read this information. I mean, you're always mindful about information right here. In that way, you're educating yourself. There is no teacher, of course, definitely physically educating you, showing you, do this, do that, but you take that initiative, that self-responsibility. And one thing I also come to realize is that something that you teach yourself, probably you went down there to the library and you read the book to educate yourself about something. Chances are high, 80% you'll always memorize that. Why? It was your initiative. So that means you had the love for it, and it's that love that births the results that we talk about when it comes to obtaining self-education. So I think that is something to really think about. From education will earn you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. So you see that that is something you really put into consideration. Read something new, get acquainted with quite lots of substance. That way, have broad knowledge about everything. Not everything about something and not something about everything. When you have that, well, it's the icebreaker. You will be in position to actually make a lot of money in that regard. Now, that is it for the business tips and quotes. Hope you've been inspired by what we've just, of course, shared just right now, because these are quotes that were written by people's experiences, not just something which was just a thought-through process or pattern at the same time. Now, away from that, we're heading straight into our social media trends. Of course, getting to see what is really what is trending, but also in some sort of a business sense. So let's review this at this particular time. Well, we see something here. That is Joel Senyoni saying, for frustrating, that is actually making a statement here, saying that for frustrating the Uganda Airlines report, shame on you, Madam Speaker. Well, that is something which, of course, he made right there in regards to that. And well, I don't know, what do you really make of that statement when you really review it? What value, what does it communicate to you in terms of, well, away from that, we still see something there regarding, but what is the speaker's interest in the Uganda Airlines report? That's something, of course, causing quite a lot. So people are really thinking, anxious, want to know, they're curious to know what's really happening. But what is the speaker's interest in the Ugandan Alliance? Well, away from that, I will see something here still that the Speaker of Parliament, that is Anita Mo, has rejected the SASA report on Uganda Airlines be presented by Joel Senyoni, citing a leakage that is yet to be fully investigated. And she says Parliament property can't leak, and they continue debating on it. Well, you can interpret it right there. What does it? All these statements, what do they really mean to you? What do they communicate to you? Do they bring out something that you really relate to, or they don't that much? And then we see something here, as we see a committee that is a committee inquiries into the affairs of Uganda Airlines and authors a report. We see the committee chair complains that the speaker has prevented the tabling of the reports that is before the whole House. The speaker declares an inquiry into the productivity of the committee. And the question is Uganda a real place? Very, very furious there. Well, what do you think about that? Of course, we are looking into what's really trending, but having a certain business kind of a sense right there. Getting to review that. And now, still reviewing this, we see that as you finish Uganda Airlines, please don't forget Henderson. Otherwise, there's that much. Nothing. Well, that is for you there reviewing that. What do you take of this particular aspect? Still reviewing some of what is really trending right there. Of course, sometimes it's a little bit fun, entertaining. Uganda Airlines. Why? Why Uganda Airlines? Why really Uganda Airlines? Doing that. Just, of course, all this coming in from the different people trying to have an expression in regards to NSSN. not NSF. Just like NSF was part of it. Okay, why doesn't Uganda Airlines fly to Kigali? Somebody's asking. Why? Why doesn't Uganda Airlines fly to Kigali? I think that is something to also really put into great consideration. Why is Uganda Airlines not flying to Kigali? Then Parliament instead adopted the recommendations from the Auditor General's report on the mismanagement of Uganda Airlines. Our Speaker Anita Amon guided that Parliament won't adopt recommendations from the consultant reports owing alleged premature leakage of the report. Wow, quite lots of posts going on. I see Uganda Airlines, NSSF, being one of the most trending topics which being touched on lately on every Ugandan on the street, or even in a corporate world. I'll say that. So I think they're making, but the Uganda Airlines seems to be really of much, making quite a lot of trending. Let me say that on the social media, and of course we're getting to see that. And at this particular time, we're going to head into our second update, and still it's going to relate to the social media trends. Of course, the NSSF being something which majority of every Ugandan is actually doing about NSSF. Where are the people's funds? Where are the workers' money? So imagine you're 55 years today, at least maybe even today, and you just spent 55 and you really want to access your money. Are you going to be able to get it? Well, let's get into an insight as we see that Minister Betty Amonge's report regarding NSSF. And of course, after this, I shall be right back just to have a brief talk regarding that.
Regarding completion of high voltage evacuation lines, the lack of completion of this line is resulting in dimmed energy, and the major lines include Gulu Agago project and Kole Gulu Navy Arua project. The committee recommends that government fast tracks the completion of evacuation lines within this financial year, and in order to end dimmed energy payments. The committee also recommends that a forensic audit of the dimmed energy payments be conducted. We visited one of the dams, Achua Dam. We found that this dam, the quantity they are able to generate fluctuates a lot. Whereas, I'm summarizing, as I said before that I will be summarizing. Whereas this dam has a capacity of up to 43, but sometimes you find that it's producing 6 megawatts during the dry season. So we really want a forensic audit to ensure that they have not been overpaid over the years in terms of dimmed energy. Regarding government preparedness to take over from Umeme, as you are aware, government has written to Umeme that their concession is coming to an end come 2025. It will not be renewed. The committee recommends that government ensures a smooth transition and takeover from Umeme in accordance with the concession agreement. 2, that government should avail the necessary financing to ensure this smooth transition and takeover from Umeme. That is in terms of clearing some of the developments that they have put on our distribution grids. Regarding formation of the Uganda National Electricity Company, this falls in line with the current government program of rationalizing agencies, and the 3 entities of Uganda Electricity Generation Company, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company, and Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited are supposed to be merged to form one national electricity company called Uganda National Electricity Company Limited. The committee recommends as follows: that government ensures formation of UNEC-L facilitates smooth transition from Umeme. That the Attorney General should expedite the winding up of Uganda Electricity Board. You will recall that the 3 companies were formed by unbundling Uganda Electricity Board. Now, Uganda Electricity Board has not been wound up to date. It is still in existence, despite the existence of these three limited liability companies. Now, pardon me? Yeah, it's government. It's government. Yes, it's Ministry of Energy and Finance. Now, UEB is still in existence, yet we are moving as if we are again bundling up the three limited liability companies back to something akin to UEB. That is why we want the Attorney General to expedite the winding up of Uganda Electricity Board. They claim that there are still some legalities that they are settling. So we want that process to be expedited. This has been going on since 2021, and the level of vandalism is quite grave. So many cases have been reported. And my committee recommends that government expedites investigations regarding the recent rampant cases of vandalism. Over 175 cases of vandalism have been reported. Now, you find that, for example, when one tower is cut down, it may fall with two others, two on either side. So I actually wanted to give the financial implication of how much, but the UETCL could not readily give me the figure. But it is enormous because just one tower costs 200 million. So it is grave, and so my committee gives those recommendations. The second one is that the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development and the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives should expedite the process of putting in place regulations on scrap metal and transformer oil businesses. 3, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, together with the local governments, should sensitize communities against vandalism. 4, the committee also recommends that the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development popularizes the new Electricity Act as amended. Honorable Chairman and colleagues, you find that we made amendments of the Electricity Act and came up with very, very stringent measures. Unfortunately, the people out there still don't know that someone can go to jail for 10 years for vandalizing electrical installations or even for transporting. So the public needs to be sensitized that these are the implications of vandalism. But we also noted that the judiciary was still using the old penalties, yet we have already amended the law. So the penalties they were meting upon those found guilty were very lenient. So they as well have now been sensitized, and they have started now using the amended act. Regarding electricity access scale-up project, Mr. Chairman and the honorable members, this is your own, and this is the one that will help us to get out of the persistent problem that we face in our constituencies. Poles that are standing for 7 years, people not connected, people who have paid, etc., etc. This is the loan that we passed recently, and it will be coming into effect in April, God willing, if the funds are disbursed in good time. So our task will be to start with the no pole and one pole connections. Those who applied and for connectivity and they don't require one pole, they require no pole or one pole. They are the first to be connected. But also I want to highlight the fact that those who require connectivity are close to 10,000. In fact, slightly over 10,000. And this loan here is addressing only slightly over 1,000 connections. Yes, 630 million it's only going to do slightly 1,100 connections. And so that's why, no, that is the calculation from the ministry, chairman and colleagues. It's just 1,000. That's why we are recommending the ministry to do more of these packages. We need more packages in order to address the enormous gap. The demand is enormous. So the committee recommends that government expedites the establishment of the project implementation unit to enable seamless coordination and the execution of project activities, that the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development packages other similar projects to address the existing demand in electricity.
That's a very interesting, of course, update regarding that's the Environment and Natural Resources Committee presenting its budget framework paper. That's to the Budget Committee. And of course, some of there are quite lots of issues that we are raised regarding these matters regarding to environment. We saw the aspect of vandalism being really on rampant lately. And of course, some of the issues that were raised, there was the aspect of lack of incomplete lines, and of course, resulting in to deemed energy. And energy which is not really enough because some lines are not complete, and when it's deemed, it has certain disadvantages which it can cause, most especially when it comes to factories and those that are operating. Any slight changes in the current, of course, flowing into those particular wires might lead to a possible blow of those machines, besides being dimmed. But also at the same time, there is the aspect of reduction in productivity, because the machine's efficiency is sometimes determined by how much current it's able to bring in, and once it's dimmed, well, still, and also still some of the other issues that were put out there was that the Uganda Electricity Board still exists, so there is no need to wind up, and it's no more. Well, of course, we know that Umeme, the contract for supplying is literally over. Now, the committee still further recommended a smooth transition from Umeme to another entity, since there is no renewal of the contract, that is for Umeme. So there was a suggestion of a smooth transfer, probably for another player to come and really take control of Uganda's electricity, and of course, we ensure efficiency into the economy. And still, some of the other issues was vandalism levels on a very rising every year. And actually, still in the news, we saw that someone in the print media, the New Vision, actually on the headline here, we still see electricity, something about electricity vandals charged with terrorism. So that is something which is of great concern that needs to be addressed regarding that. So the Natural Resources Committee, those are one of the things that were passed over. And then still, we see further, the committee still recommended regulations that is on scrap, metals, and transformer oil businesses. Yes, recommend regulations on scrap, metals, and transformer oil businesses. And of course, there are some people that really get the scrap out there. They make it into a business, oil, transformers, and some of it is actually just stolen from these particular aspects. And then still, there was a suggestion of stringent measures needed to be implemented, such as imprisonment for the above cases or crimes which are committed against anything that relates to environment, or also relating to the aspect of energy flow, current flow, because it has a certain impact on the long run when it comes to productivity. So such culprits, there is a recommendation of imprisonment. But anyway, of course, it's still developing. We shall be getting to see what is really coming out there regarding the final decision being made about this very matter. 24 minutes past 8 a.m. And we are going to get into a short break. When we return, business in sports, business in entertainment, and of course, we shall be wrapping till the hour of 9 a.m. Good morning.